the health benefits of actually activating more of your brown fat cells. And when I say that, I mean beiging. Okay. So like not changing your total number of brown fat cells, but like beiging the white to beige fat cells. So when we activate more of this brown fat cell type of activity, more calories are burned because it's metabolically active. So when people can actually activate more of this brown cell, brown fat cell, beige fat cell kind of activity, you could potentially burn more calories. It could lead to better insulin sensitivity. Why? Because if a cellular structure is requiring more glucose uptake, it will help regulate sugar levels in your body better. And so that's what they were doing studies, and they found, okay, people with higher like brown fats and beige fats, they had a little bit better glucose utilization and better insulin sensitivity. So this is where I guess with the studies that they are doing right now is they're really trying to understand is helping people try to turn more cells into beige cells a good thing, because it can help you with like these metabolic disorders, getting better with like regulating like type 2 diabetes, that type of thing. So the research is continuing on in this area. But also another study that they did back in 2019, and remember, like I said, the research has only been, I think, 4 years to 5 years. So it's too new. That's why everybody is kind of like, it's still really being studied. But like one of the studies they did was they actually exposed about 40 men to like really cooler temperatures for about 2 hours. And they studied what was in their blood, and they found that the BCAA levels, which is branched chain amino acids, which is like protein building blocks, was higher. It was higher before, and it was lower after the 2 hour cooler temperature. So this was really important because they found that people who had a lot of BCAAs in their system or things within the bloodstream floating around, which means the body isn't uptaking that, was connected to like type 2 diabetes, insulin resistance, and things like that. So when they were exposed to the cold temperature, they found that actually like their BCAA levels dropped, which means it's healthier for them in the bloodstream. So this is why, again, so a lot of people are saying like, okay, so like having more cooler temperature exposure is good because it's going to help these brown fat cells or these beiging processes to happen, which controls better insulin, glucose, BCAAs in the bloodstream. And that they found that people who have more brown fats tend to have linked to less coronary diseases, hypertension, abnormal cholesterol, and all of that. These were actual studies that were done. It is, but again, it is probably still too new. They probably are trying to do more studies, but overall, basically, brown fat cells are good for you. They're not like white fat cells as much. They are metabolically active, and they help control and contribute more beneficial things to your body. Okay. So with that being said, then a lot of people are then asking about like, well, how do you activate your brown fat, what they're really saying, right? Because I said it before, they're not saying, I know I'm going to increase my brown fat. What they're saying is when somebody says activating brown fat, what they're saying is browning or beiging the white to beige. Okay. So just context for all of you. So they found that exercising definitely helps a little bit with like the turning it into like a beige cell, turning those white cells to more of a beige type, which would make sense in my opinion, if you actually think about it really reasonably. When you're exercising, you're demanding your body to produce more a need for oxygen and for use of your cells. If there is more need for that, then a lot of your dormant cells could become active and wanting to become more activated types of cells, right? And then they found that exposure to temperatures just above the shivering temperature, like they say 3 degrees above a person's shivering temperature. And that can vary for some people. People may shiver around like 9 degrees Celsius. Or I don't know, I live in Canada. I don't like I was like, 9 degrees Celsius, I think is warm. Like, but it says 9 degrees Celsius, some people start shivering. So if you're 3 degrees above that, then it's like perfect temperature for like getting that chilly feel in your body, right? But I think it does vary for person to person and where you live. If you live in Canada, Edmonton, minus 30 degrees is like our temperature. Like, I don't, 9 degrees is actually really warm for me. So my base of where I shiver is probably different from you or talking to you, right? So where they're saying is basically where you personally feel like it's a bit chilly, a little bit cold, but you haven't started shivering. That's a really good temperature to be at for like, they say usually if you really want to see the effect, a couple hours of that, of the kind of chilly feel. But if you are going to go for the like cold plunges, like crazy cold, I personally think that you can do cold. I would just say, like, don't go like crazy on it. Like, work your body up to it. Like, it could be sort of cold and you can still tolerate it. If you go too extreme and your body's not used to it, it can also shock your body in different ways. I think just like work up to it. Some people only do 30 seconds of their cold shower at the end. I don't know, Angela, if you do 30 seconds, you can do 3 minutes. And they usually say don't do more than 10 minutes in a really, really cold bath. And, and I mean, I've done cold baths when I was actually injured as a dancer. I had to do it multiple times, and it was helping with the healing process in my body. But yeah, like it's not comfortable. But I would say you want to choose, a temperature where you feel like you can still take it. Some of these like crazy extremists are maybe like saying like it'd be so cold, right? Like, and I don't know if that's necessarily even like that great for your body if it shocks your body to an extreme, right? So work up to it, or just, if you want to just go take a walk in a chillier weather, that can help too. It doesn't mean you have to like straight jump into a polar bear plunge and, kill yourself or something like that, right? So like just always taking things in like context, like not going like completely extreme, right? Because everybody's body is different. But I do think like it's good to actually expose yourself to different temperatures, and there is some benefits to allowing your body to adapt to different temperatures. So if you live in really hot environments or really warm environments, it may be beneficial to allow yourself to experience the different temperatures, because then it does force your body to have to work a bit harder and have to activate some of these cellular structures, right? But like, again, like you don't have to go so extreme, right? So really, like I think this is just something that's very interesting to talk about. But I think at the end of the day, really, like what people want more than anything is actually how to burn white fat cells.